Okay, so how does the UK political system work? Well, technically, the monarchy is a constitutional monarchy, which means there is a king or queen. Currently, that would be King Charles. In the UK, though, the monarchy has very limited powers and is largely ceremonial and symbolic, which means they do not get involved in the day-to-day running of the government. The actual power lies with the Prime Minister, which is the UK equivalent of a president. Currently, that is Rishi Sunak. The Prime Minister of the UK is normally the leader of the political party that holds the most seats in the House of Commons. The House of Commons is the lower house of the Parliament, and it is made up of 650 seats or members called MPs. MPs, or Members of Parliament, are elected by the people within the specific area that they represent, called a constituency, and the people that can vote in that area are called constituents. The House of Commons is responsible for making laws, approving government budgets, monitoring the government's actions, and holding the government accountable for their actions. It is also where the Prime Minister is appointed. So, in the UK, there are 650 constituencies, which each get a seat, or an MP in the House of Commons. There are 533 constituencies in England, 59 in Scotland, 40 in Wales, and 18 in Northern Ireland. The size of a constituency represented by an MP in the United Kingdom typically has a population of around 70,000 people. The boundaries of constituencies are tweaked every few years to reflect changes in population. This process is called gerrymandering, and it can be used to give an advantage to one political party or another. Basically, the UK is what's called a parliamentary democracy, which means that the government is elected by the people of the country. MPs are voted into a seat by their respective constituents, and that is on the most votes wins basis, not a majority vote basis. To be eligible as an MP within a constituency, you must be a British citizen, at least 18 and a resident in the United Kingdom, and you must be nominated by two people who are eligible to vote within that constituency. Once nominations have closed and candidates for MP are identified, a campaign period begins, where the candidates meet with voters from their constituency, they hold rallies, and they publish leaflets and flyers where they speak about their plans and political ideologies. Then there is a vote held, and voters can select any of the nominated candidates. The candidate with the most votes wins a seat in the House of Commons. These elections occur once every 5 years, called a general election, where all 650 seats are voted for by their respective constituencies unless a snap election is called by the Prime Minister. A snap election is an election that takes place sooner than expected, meaning sooner than the 5 years from the previous general election. A Prime Minister may call a snap election as they may believe that their party is more popular than the other parties and they will win even more seats in the House of Commons, and they may want to increase their party's majority in the House of Commons, meaning more control. So, what is a political party? A political party is a group that comes together to share common political beliefs and to try and influence government, and typically shape and make laws. Candidates for MP of constituency do not have to be a member of any political party. However, most MPs are members of one of the main political parties in the UK. This is due to that candidate either aligning with that political party's viewpoints or being a member of the leading political parties comes with certain resources to help win votes within that constituency. The main political parties in the UK are the Conservative Party, Labour Party, Liberal Democrats and the Scottish National Party. There are other smaller parties such as the Green Party, UK Independence Party, otherwise known as UKIP, Democratic Unionist Party, Alliance Party, and a couple of others. To give context, the current Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, is the leader of the Conservative Party and is the MP for Richmond. The Conservative Party have 353 MPs or seats in the House of Commons out of the 650. Labour has 196, the Scottish National Party have 44 seats, and the Liberal Democrats have 15 seats. So, as the Conservative Party have the most seats, meaning the most MPs from that party in the House of Commons as voted for by their constituents, this means that the leader of the Conservative Party is chosen to be Prime Minister. Leaders for political parties are chosen in different ways for each party, but the commonalities are that they must be nominated by a certain number of party members. They will have to campaign to collect votes from their party members, and the candidate within that party that receives the most votes will become that party's leader. In some instances, the leader of a party will be appointed by that party's governing body instead of winning votes. This is usually when there is no clear winner in a leadership election within that party. Leaders of political parties are responsible for setting that party's agenda, representing the party in the media, leading the party into elections, appointing the party's front benchers, which is an MP that holds a senior position within that party, called so because they tend to sit in the front benches in the House of Commons. The leader also deals with internal party disputes, overseeing the party's finances and building relationships with other political parties. Each party has senior positions within it. In the leading party, which currently is the Conservative Party, these are the leader, which would be the Prime Minister, deputy leader, which would be Deputy Prime Minister, and then a cabinet and spokespeople. The leader and deputy leader are self-explanatory, but a cabinet is a group of senior MPs within the leading party responsible for criticising government policies and setting out alternative policies of their political party. The spokesperson is responsible for speaking out on behalf of the party on specific issues. In the parties that do not hold the most seats, these are called shadow positions, for example, shadow cabinet and shadow spokesperson. The cabinet for each party is made up of a number of positions, such as Chancellor of the Exchequer, who is responsible for setting out the party's economic policies, Foreign Secretary, responsible for foreign policy, Home Secretary, who's responsible for the party's law and order policies, and Secretary of State for Education, responsible for the party's educational policies. And these are just a few of the number of positions, and the positions vary depending on the party. You can find out the positions that make up a cabinet or shadow cabinet within each political party by Googling it. Again, these positions all exist in non-leading parties, but would be called shadow positions. For example, Shadow Chancellor of the Exchequer. And there are a couple of additional positions in non-leading parties, such as Leader of the Opposition and Deputy Leader of the Opposition. These are the most senior roles of any shadow cabinet, and they are responsible for leading the opposition party that criticises policies of the leading party and submits alternative policies from their own party. So, to summarise and hopefully simplify, MPs or members of parliament are voted for in their local areas called constituencies. The MPs tend to represent a political party. When an MP wins their local election, they win a seat in the House of Commons. The political party with the most MPs that win a seat in the House of Commons becomes the leading political party. The leader of each party is voted for by the MPs within that party, and the leader of the leading party becomes Prime Minister. So when you think your local elections don't matter, you're wrong. The local elections control the seats control the leading party, and the leading party control the Prime Minister. There is obviously so much more that I will go into and explain in further videos, but this is just the overall simplification of the UK political system. Again, I hope that you found this video interesting or informative. If you have, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you again in the next one.